lucky to have you. I'm sorry about that thing with the Tesseract. I just couldn't help myself. I'm a trickster. Yes, just so mischievous.
That was horrible. Horrible. I clicked it and you started talking and nothing happened. I thought, oh, it didn't work. And then I just left it. All of a sudden it activated.
I was wondering what your reaction was.
Man, that's atrocious. Anyways, I hope I'm not. It's a choppy morning.
Happy morning.
Right now. Yes. I am Taylor.
I am the symbiote Kirklin Patzer.
When you don't respond right away, going wrong.
I don't want to cut you off, so.
Yeah, we're talking some great news today. I hope you can hear me. I don't know what's going on. But I do know what's going on is we're talking Venom symbiote news, or not Venom symbiote, Venom 2 predictions news. This is. I don't know if this, like, you guys can hear me. Like,
I can hear you.
But Podcast is our Twitter, GeekVerse is our Facebook. Be sure to check us out on all our social media, including Patreon for exclusive ad-free early content. And then be sure to Geek Ultimate Alliance Network because there's a great there. So it's like 5 days a week. I don't know. Come back. Are we back, Kurt?
I don't know if it like captures what I'm hearing, but this is quite the intro to a cast. We're back.
Is it like salvageable or is this horrible?
Like for a start, it was pretty freaking brutal. I really couldn't hear anything you were saying. It would just be like like a couple words here and there, and then it would just cut out. It'd be like, oh man, this is rough. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I don't know where we were at.
Finish this off. I'm not gonna be.
Yeah, let's do that.
God, it totally just is your train of thought. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So
brutal.
Social media, Patreon, GUA, content, great people over there. Be sure to check out dropping out. Travis is releasing the extra retros of each season.
That's right.
You're working on something with Travis too, right? 007.
Yeah, we got 007 retros coming out. I think we're filming the next one here pretty soon, so that'll drop. I don't even know how those are dropping. I'm assuming Patreon's first and then general public afterwards. But nonetheless, those are always fun. So make sure to check those out. Not sure if Taylor said it or not, but After Nine's returning after a long wait. So I believe that is next Saturday, which if you're not listening to this right away, that would be the 25th. Do you have a time for that, Taylor, or After Nine?
Probably 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
There you go. So that's probably will be our After Nine. It'll be a fun one. It's been a long wait for those ones. Those are always fun though. So make sure to check that out. How you doing?
I don't know what
How you
to
doing,
do.
Taylor? Yeah.
I'm good, but I've never had it this bad.
Yeah. That's so I've never experienced it this bad either. That's rough. I mean, like worst case scenario, what do you want to do? Do you want to just record later maybe? Or what do you think? Do you think it'll settle out?
I mean, unless
do you think your video's drawing a lot? Like if you turn off your video, do you think it'll be better or not really?
Let's try. Let's see what happens, but I don't know.
Because I feel like sometimes Travis does
Neighbor, but I mean, yeah. Neighbor is really just fucking streaming just a fucking banger movie and playing games downstairs. Like he shouldn't be. He's like 70 years old.
Just sucking up all your internet.
Yeah, but I mean, how's this? Is this
This is better. I
Like
think
a little bit better.
you haven't chopped out yet.
Okay.
I just can't see your facial
we'll just
reactions.
keep going. I want
yeah, I'll improv it.
to envision it. Push through. I want to make for this, but this is a fucking nightmare. Oh, okay. So we're talking Venom.
That's right.
Now, I'm curious, Kirkland. So, will there be a direct setup for a third film, or will this end in a standalone type of way?
That's a really good question because I feel like after I finished watching the first movie, I never would have thought there'd be a sequel, even though it left with such like a cliffhanger, like with like Woody Harrelson as the Carnage, and it's set up for a sequel. Part of me is just like, this movie's so bad, there's no way it's getting a sequel, right? But obviously, I was wrong. Enough Venom symbiote fanboys are out there that they just really, really love the movie. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but I'd be lying to you if I was saying that it's a it's a stellar film. There's a lot of problems with it, but I still had a lot of fun with it, which clearly a lot of other people did because a lot of other people saw it and it made enough money to generate a sequel. Do you know how much money the first one made? Off the maybe while I'm going, you can look that up for me if you don't mind. I can't see if you're typing or not, so I gotta just hopefully guess. Yeah, no. So for a third movie, I feel like honestly, it's possible. Just for how wrong I was after after leaving that first film, and we got the second one now, and I don't know. I just feel like Venom is a popular enough character that it'll leave people wanting more. And like it could be just supremely bad compared to the first movie, and it just completely flops. And especially with COVID popping off, it'll see less numbers than the first one did. But I don't know. I think it'll just have to wait and see. But if you're just asking me my feels, I think yes, there'll be a third movie.
Yeah,
He's back.
I know. Side note, we just rearranged our whole living room, and the
Ooh.
modem is in a shelf. Like it was on an open shelf, but now it's on a much more enclosed shelf.
Ooh.
So I leaned it out, so the
Yeah.
top isn't covered by a shelf. It's like shooting outwards.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you look awesome right now, and it's like 1080p. You're not skipping, so let's just run with it.
Let's run with that.
Knock on wood.
So, I mean, I think you said some very accurate things. I would not be surprised if we got a third one. Really wouldn't. I mean, I am surprised we got a second one. But I mean, post credit scene.
I was gonna ask you something. Maybe I should have waited till we're like really guessing, but I got you now because of this amazing wallpaper. Are we gonna see a Tyrannosaurus Rex Venom in the second or third? And will that be a Jurassic World crossover?
Well, they're gonna try to do it with Fast and the Furious. Why stop there? I mean, I'd love to. Shit,
I know you would. That was like a redundant question.
It'd be amazing. But yeah, it's just they alluded to so much in the trailer where people are like, oh, I mean, what is that third symbiote's name? Toxin, I think was his name. I think because they're kind of alluding to him now, aren't they?
Yeah. So yeah, I don't even remember the trailer, honestly. Was Toxin shown in the trailer?
He wasn't, but his host was, right? The cop who's like kind of like a shady kind of cop.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like interviewing Eddie and all that stuff. So I think that's what they're alluding to, which I think is great because like back in the day, like when I loved Venom and I was going through his lineage and like, okay, here's Venom. Oh, here's Carnage. Like, oh, Carnage had an offspring called Toxic. Like, this is just so cool. So let's keep the ball rolling. And I imagine that's what the third one would be if they dive into it. But obviously we'll get to this later, but it depends how things go parallel to like Spider-Man No Way Home and all that stuff, and Morbius and everything. So, but I think there'll definitely be a third. I mean, the first one, I don't know if it did well in theaters. I can't remember, but I think overall it was actually pretty good. I think it gained a lot of, like, it made a lot of money. It just wasn't like received too greatly.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like I feel like just from what the trailer showed in the second one, it's going to be pretty damn similar, like feeling to the first one. Whether like the humor, the humor didn't stick with me 100%, but there were still some moments that really made me chuckle, and just what we've seen in the trailer, it's that same type of humor. So I feel like there'll be a lot of jokes that just miss for me. A lot of it is like situational humor with like Venom and like Brock going back and forth. Some of that works for me. I feel like majority of it doesn't, just because it's a little corny in my opinion. But nonetheless, it'll be that very much similar vibes. And you just mentioning like Toxin and stuff and other characters that they could have, like there's basically like infinite amounts of symbiotes. So like honestly, they could be making these movies like forever. And I I'm not sure where they would go if they like want to introduce some more like origin type stuff to the symbiotes and like the symbiote planet and stuff. That's where you get like a lot more intergalactic because there's like literally a whole planet of symbiotes. And I don't know, I feel like, yeah, we're getting like these alien type symbiotes in these movies, like coming to Earth and interacting with our characters and stuff. But I feel like maybe we're a little too far away to like actually go to like a symbiote planet. I feel like the movie makers really want to make this more. I don't know if grounded is the right word, but just more tied to Earth. And I don't know. That's a big assumption, but I feel like we wouldn't really do that. But in regards to just introducing more symbiotes, like there was even some stuff shown in the trailer that I would want to talk about, like I think her name's Scream, which is another symbiote character. She's really, really cool. She's like all yellow. She has like really, really long hair. I don't know if you want to.
You've mentioned her a few times.
Yeah. So Google an image of her, 'cause she's really, really badass. And I'm like 90% sure that's who the lady was in the trailer that was like literally screaming. Like that was her power, it looked like. But we didn't see her in the symbiote costume. But yeah, no, I think it's a given that we'll get her and probably some other symbiotes. And you bringing up Toxin, I mean, yeah, like the police guy who's the host for it is in this. Like we saw him, he's casted. I think Mulligan is his name. Yeah, Patrick Mulligan.
Yeah,
and he like Toxin is like basically I think directly attached to Carnage, or like he's like a descendant from him. Most of like the symbiotes are kind of like offsprings of like other ones. Like I believe, I mean, yeah. So even in the trailer, they showed Woody Harrelson's Carnage, Cletus Cassidy, like drinking Venom's blood basically to like get the power. It's kind of a weak, a weak thing for me. For like that's the way that he gets the power, just because it's I don't know. Maybe I'm just not the biggest fan of the Woody Harrelson interpretation of the character, and it just seems a little vampire-y that he got it. But nonetheless, you got to get him the power some way. So, yeah, I don't know.
Let's hope Morbius doesn't suck the blood from Eddie.
Oh, okay. Travis Snell in the chat helped me out here. So it's actually not a symbiote. That's a character named Shriek. I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I was about to be talking about her for a little while there.
Putting out false info.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. So I don't really know much about that character, actually, Shriek. Or see what
I thought there was a group of them, or at least similar ones, because I remember you brought this to our attention a while ago. All these like symbiotic like ladies.
Yeah, well, there's
cool.
I mean, like it's one of the biggest thing why I think Venom is just so popular is his look. Like, you know, like just with the big white spider, huge teeth and mouth, and like the creepy eyes and everything. And that's just like a theme of all the different symbiotes. And like if Venom looks cool, obviously if we have different colors and versions and like different body types and stuff, like they're just all cool in my opinion, because I just love Venom so much. So when you see some of the more unique ones, like Scream that I brought up, who had like the long hair and stuff, like she's just such a cool character design for me, and for me personally. And I love all the different versions of them. I'll try and pull up some more to reference, but yeah, Shriek, I didn't really know about this character before. She looks pretty freaking cool. Frances Barrason, I guess, is her non superhero name.
Frances.
I mean, she's a female, so I don't know how else you would say that name. It's pretty freaking cool though.
So all that being said, do you think Spider-Man will be mentioned, alluded to, or he'll just flat out just swing right into the movie?
Good pun. I hope that was intended. Yeah, so this is an interesting one for me because oh, there you go. Travis Snell just spewing more knowledge. She's an ally, sometimes girlfriend, and call it Carnage. Yeah. Spider-Man though, I think it'll be danced around. Like if it's not like just shown big spotlight, like, hey, look, it's Peter Parker, that's Spider-Man. I think it'll be danced around upon, like maybe just some little, not even necessarily Easter eggs, but just like little hints to the character, or maybe like some people will talk about like a web crawler or a wall crawler, whatever. And yeah, I think, especially, you know, once we get into the more fun tinfoil hat, like breaking down like set photos and stuff of like Tom Hardy wearing like a No Way Home hat, I feel like if I pull some of that info into my decision, yeah, Spidey's going to be some part in this, especially just, I don't know, some statements maybe that I've seen like Tom Hardy make. Like, what was that one thing he said? Like, there's the Venom verse, the multiverse, and just like naming all the different verses, and it seemed
I said
like,
this?
No. Tom Hardy.
Oh.
I think I don't know, maybe it was like an interview or something. He was just mentioning all the different like universes, multiverses, and again, I could be paraphrasing terribly here, but I feel like it was in regards to like someone asking him like, are they all connected? And he was just listing all the different like verses and stuff, and then you get into like the multiverse of madness, and that's just a whole other thing. It's so interesting though when you like talk about, or maybe theory crafting about like bringing these universes together. And like I feel like there's so much just like smoke and mirrors with some of it, and I'm so interested to get into like Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, because I feel like once we get past that, that'll be the decider on like where freaking weird we're getting with Sony verse and all these other verses and stuff like that. I feel like if nothing happens in Multiverse of Madness, that'll be like our clear cut answer of, okay, these are actually completely separated or they're actually connected. And I don't know. I heard that the end credit scene leaked from yourself there. I'm assuming you haven't watched it either. I
From what? From me that I leaked it?
No.
I didn't.
You just told me that it was leaked, or maybe you and Travis were talking about it, and
Yeah.
I heard that it was leaked. So I haven't looked at it. I don't know how much that's hinting towards like a Sony exclusive Venom title, or actually more of a collaborative thing. I'm very excited to watch it. I won't watch the leak version just because we're so close to the movie. I want to just wait and have it revealed there. But anyways, I was spewing on for a while there. What do you think was Spider-Man possibly, or like I guess even Morbius? Like we know that they're kind of connected, right? So like some other crossovers, not just Spidey.
Yeah, like we know crossover or not into the main MCU time. Like we know Spider-Man is in Eddie Brock's Morbius's universe.
Yeah, we saw the poster.
We saw the poster.
Look like Sam Raimi.
Yeah, exactly. As Bub says, he had a very confusing explanation of how Venom is in the MCU. So there you go.
Yeah, it's just like dancing around the topic. I feel like, and anytime that someone does that, I'm like, okay, they're not allowed to talk about that, but they're talking about it in an indirect way. So
yeah,
it'll always make me question the situation. But
absolutely. Yeah, I think that again, when we know Spider-Man's in there, we just don't know what iteration of it. I think the most logical belief is that it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I don't think it's Tom Holland's Spider-Man, because even Andy Serkis made a recent comment about how, oh, they're he joked like, oh, they're not going to encounter, but no, it's only a matter of time or something like along those lines, saying that Spider-Man will eventually meet Eddie Brock's Venom. So it's going to happen. We're going to get that Venom with the Spider-Man emblem on his chest, which I'm excited to see that when it happens. But
oh yeah,
it's only a matter of time. It's just a matter of how they really go about it. If they use the multiverse, that's probably the only logical way I can think of.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when you get into the multiverse stuff, it doesn't make it like mean that you have to have Tom Holland Spider-Man, because it's just a completely, like, it could be
Spider-Pig's universe.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was gonna say like Peter B. Parker Spider-Man, like it probably wouldn't be animated, but just like a type of Spider-Man like that's so different. Maybe Chris Pine, like the blonde-haired one. It could be anything, and that's what's so fun about the multiverse stuff, right? It could be Spider-Man in a wheelchair. I don't know if that's a comic book interpretation of the character, but it could be. You mentioned just like the Venom spider. Yeah. Oh, I so hope we get that. I I love Venom's design in the Venom movie. My one like con is obviously the no spider, but that was like a licensing reason. Like they couldn't have it attached to Spider-Man, so they had to like separate a bit. So they had like his veins kind of have like that white look to it.
But really, don't they own
I-
Spider-Man?
I remember reading in that like they weren't able to use the Spider-Man like logo. I'll pull that up just to
Oh my god.
just to confirm that. And if anyone's in the chat, maybe they'll. S Bubs is usually pretty good on his.
Speaking
on
of
his
S
knowledge.
Bubs, the picture of Spider-Man shown in the Morbius trailer was from promo art of the Raimi suit in Spider-Man PS4.
Well, wasn't the Raimi suit in PS4 like from the Raimi movies?
I mean, Raimi mention alone, just I feel like okay, it's got to be
Yeah.
the Raimi verse.
Yeah, and I so hope that. Taylor, why do you think it's Toby Spider-Man? Most people are
Most
hoping for
people hope for
Andrew. Who's most
Andrew.
people hoping for Andrew?
Is this because people aren't very fond of like Tom Hardy's universe and the villains? I mean, not to bash Andrew, but I feel like people kind of look down as Andrew as like the least favorite of the trilogy of Spider-Man. But I mean, I just feel like it makes sense with Toby's. Like Andrew had, we already got Eddie Brock in the Toby verse.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe, well, yeah, and he did die, so it wouldn't be the same Venom. Yeah, that's very, very true. Unless it could be just an equivalent. It could still be another. Maybe he's not playing the same Toby from that Spider-Man universe because obviously we got Doc Ock who died and he's back. So maybe it's the same Toby playing Spider-Man, but from a different universe where all his villains didn't kill themselves and still stayed alive.
Can you imagine we get like that multiverse version of like bad guy like Bully Maguire, but like he just stayed that like he's got like the emo cut, and we have like Tobey Maguire in like his 40s, just like still rocking like the emo cut from what was it like fairly early 2000s when that movie came out, maybe like 2006 or something. But God, I would so hope that because I do want that. I don't care if we get in the MCU. I just want Toby back as Spider-Man. And it doesn't matter if it's in the Sonyverse for me. Part of me obviously wants him like to just interact with like Tom Holland and like the other MCU stuff. But if I don't get that, I'd be so happy with him just being back as that character. It doesn't matter really what it's in.
Absolutely.
What's S Bub saying here?
It wasn't even a picture of the Raimi suit from the movies.
Maybe Venom will be the one with No Way Home. Ayo.
The whole movie is about Venom trying to get back to his symbiote home planet. Spider-Man makes a cameo.
So I found this article here, and it's basically talking about the director Ruben Fleischer, so from the first movie, explaining the logo's absence and revealing that it's entirely due to the character's change in origin. That's totally different than what I originally thought I read. So
you were going very like licensing and all this.
Well,
stuff.
I thought I remember reading something like that, like it was for that reason. I guess I don't know. Either way, they changed it, and this is what we got now, the white version. And I find it pretty interesting that it is because of the origin change, because like his origin is just so attached to Spider-Man. So when you don't have Spider-Man, I guess it wouldn't make the most sense that you don't, have the spiders, because the symbiote of Venom, like the Clintar, that's the race of the symbiotes, they aren't just attached to like Spider-Man, right? Like they're not just like a Spider-Man type hero. They got that spider symbol because they absorbed like Spider-Man's powers, and that's basically like it just keeps kind of taking some powers from whoever they absorb. Kind of just keeps evolving that way. So I guess that does make sense that it's because they changed the origin and
I guess
just licensing.
The only origin they changed in that sense was Spider-Man wasn't first, Eddie was.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean, I've only seen the Venom movie like once. He doesn't swing, right? He just like jumps and climbs up walls and stuff.
Yeah, he jumps, he climbs. He doesn't really use like web slinging kind of stuff.
Just like his tendrils, which is not Spidey powers. It's more of the symbiote, so that would make sense.
Yeah, because like even when he falls, like he gets into a car accident, his bones are all broken, and he has to like heal himself. Like,
yeah, That's
Not the
gnarly.
Spider-Man way.
That's not the Spider-Man way, no. I feel like I went on another tangent there. What were we even discussing?
Oh, we were talking about Spider-Man being in the movie.
Right. Yeah, Spidey. So
I could see it as an end credits scene because sooner or later you're gonna get that logo on Venom's chest, and it's only a matter of time. I want to know how. Like, is Venom just gonna like jump ship, be like, hook me up with some of that DNA for like 5 minutes? And then go.
I feel like I could see it like him like absorbing him like into the Venom thing. I don't know. It's interesting though because from where Venom left off in the first movie, he's more. I mean, he's kind of like a neutral alignment, like not good nor bad, but he's kind of like a vigilante, right? Where I feel like if he were to really absorb Spider-Man, it'd be like a villainous move, right? I don't know. Maybe he's just in his way, and he just has to absorb him and fight with him. But I feel like that would be a more centerpiece than like a Venom Carnage fight. Like if it's actually like a Spider-Man thing. So maybe that's a little bit of a pushback to the whole Spider-Man being in this movie. Is I feel like if he was in this movie, it would be like a center point of the plot, and I don't know. I just from what I've seen in the trailers and stuff, it would be so freaking bold of them to just actually like have him in this movie and just completely not show it like at all in the trailer. Huge kudos to Sony. I don't have much faith in the Sony trailer, so I doubt that they would be hiding something like that. But I don't know. I just feel like get the Spider-Man logo on Venom. There would have to be a big Spider-Man moment, and I just can't really see that happening. Even though I do want him in the movie.
You make a great point. I personally like if we have a dark moment with Spider-Man where he's rocking the symbiote, like with Tobey Maguire's version. I can't see Tom Holland in any shape or form emo or just going like villainous. But I think that might be a good thing because we would get to see a side of Tom Holland we've never seen before if the symbiote's kind of like wearing him down. But I don't even get that sense of Venom doing that. Like if Venom jumps onto Tom Holland, I can't see Tom Holland like willingly wanting to eat someone. I think it would just totally destroy the character and everything he's been portrayed as. So Bully Holland. Yes. But yeah. Anything else on that?
Can you imagine if like Toby just comes into this and it's like, oh my god, we got Toby in, and then Venom just like kills him like within like 10 seconds, and that's how he gets the Spidey power. Like he just literally kills off Toby. Would you be happy that Toby's back, even though he got like murked that quick? I feel like I'd be so disappointed.
That's tough. I'd be happy to see him on the big screen, but I need to see like the three of them fighting in a cool action shot first. If I didn't get that and they killed him off like they did Han Solo without pairing him up with like the OG3 first, then it would be a little upsetting.
Absolutely. He brings like what's like the landlord's name? Dragonovich or
Mr. Dickovich.
Mr. Dickovich. It's him and Toby. Does that help at all? They come back.
Are they and they both die?
They
or
both
Spidey
die.
dies.
Yeah. For some reason they both die. Maybe
I'd love it if Dickovich came.
Dickovich gets like the symbiote suit.
I downloaded his music he plays in the background when he's playing poker. It's so good.
What like nationality is he? Some like Soviet.
He's a like Soviet. I don't think that's a nationality.
Oh, he's a Soviet country because he probably was living there in the 80s.
He's got to be Ukrainian or something like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna jump to first ad break here, and we'll be right back with more predictions.
Spicy.
And we're back. All right. Next prediction I'm gonna throw at you is: will Anne, the love interest of Eddie, end up back together? Because she's with another piece of meat, isn't she?
Well, it's the same guy, right? I think the doctor that she was with in the first film. Yeah. So. Yeah, I feel like they'll have to get together because it was like after the first movie, I mean, Eddie was kind of like a loser, so it kind of made sense that she like moved on, found a new beau, and then they just had a lot of moments together. It's like, oh, that spark is still kind of there. At least that's what was shown on screen, and then I feel like this is kind of like I don't know, trying to throw us like a distraction or something on like showing the boyfriend again, like, oh, are they actually not gonna get together again? But I feel like it'll be something similar to what happens in the first movie, maybe just a little bit more definitive of a relationship ending with those two.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So Bob says he feels like she'll become She-Venom and save Eddie again.
Yeah.
There's
Is
a high
that just
chance.
too like copy and paste though from the first film if they do something
Yeah.
like that? Yeah. Because I feel like because that moment was fairly limited, it like made it good. But if it's just like, oh no, we just need someone to come save Eddie again. Who can we do? No, let's just bring back She-Venom. I don't know. I feel like that's it's kind of lazy in my opinion because it's just copying like the same thing that happens, especially if it's like the exact same relationship dynamic of like, oh, Eddie Brock wants her back, but like she's with the new guy, and then she comes saves his life, and then they have that really romantic moment, and then they're back together. Like I just feel like that's so copy paste from the first film, and I'm not saying it can't happen. I just feel like I don't want that to happen because it's just give me something new, you know.
I have my thought is that
you got.
My thought is, so when you have the scenario of Spider-Man 2 where Toby loses MJ and MJ is like gonna get married to this other guy, James Jameson, I think was his name. John Jameson was his name.
Like
so
Jameson's son?
Yeah, his son, the astronaut.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that there's a chance that they can get back in the relationship. I think it's kind of like an equivalent to that because once she found out again, like that, oh, he's not really a loser. Tobey Maguire actually is Spider-Man. I think it's the same dynamic here. Like, you know what? Eddie's not a loser. Eddie is actually Venom, and I think it'll kind of play off that. I really do. I think they'll get back together. The Doctor, I mean, the Doctor is going to get eaten. Probably in this movie, Carnage is going to be like, I'm hungry, and is going to go to the house to try and like one up Venom and go find the girl or go to hurt Venom by going after the girl. Maybe he kills the bow and takes the girl as prisoner or something like that. I don't think he'll make it out of this movie alive.
Yeah.
So
what a poor lad. You know, like he's just trying to be a good little boyfriend to this Anne, is her name, right? And he just keeps getting pulled into the shit, dealing with all this bonkers stuff. I don't think he'll die. I feel like that would just be pretty tragic for that guy, but it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. I guess though, if we want Anne and Eddie to get together, like, is he just gonna, okay, yeah, I'll just move on with my life? I feel like that would be pretty sad right off for that guy. So maybe he does die, and that's what leads Anne and Eddie to get together. I could definitely see it going that route. Just touching upon. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I can't see there being a developing moment in this movie where Anne has a revelation with this guy and just says, you know, I can't like be with you anymore or something like that. I feel like it'll be forced.
Yeah, he just like chews really loud, and she's like, "That's it, we're done."
That's it. Yeah.
She has like She-Venom and just eats him. Maybe they'll subvert it, and she still won't want to be with Eddie, considering him and Venom kill a lot of people. But I feel like that won't happen. I mean, I feel like that's also an interesting subject that they keep bringing up in the trailer is like the situation where Venom and Eddie are, and like Venom just wants to eat people, and Eddie's like, no, we're good people, or we're good. Yeah, I guess we're good people now. Speaking in like, that's not third person. What is that? You're just calling yourself multiple people. What is that term?
You're speaking. Oh.
I'm speaking black speech at this point. Whatever that term is, just speaking in plurals, kind of like how Smeagol and Gollum speak, you know, a little schizophrenic. But yeah, just that whole situation of them trying to do good and not just consume people for the sake of consuming people, because it's a pretty fucked up thing to do. I feel like that'll kind of be a theme of the movie. Maybe not pushed too hard, because I mean, Carnage is just going to be murking people left, right, and center. So I feel like maybe the center point of the movie isn't going to be like, Venom, you got to stop eating people. It's a pretty fucked up thing to do. It's like, okay, we got to stop this psycho killer symbiote. But I don't know. I feel like there'll still be some point of emphasis on that subject of, because that's how the movie ended, right? In the first one, like, no, we don't eat people anymore. Like, we're good. So.
Well said.
Thank you. I was gonna mention one other thing on Venom. I feel like if it does happen, I feel like we'll have an interaction between like Venom and that Shriek character. I don't know why. I just have a feeling that there's like a running theme in these types of movies of like whenever there's two badass female characters, they end up just fighting each other. So I feel like that'll be the situation, especially because I mean she's with another guy now, but let's be honest, like she's like the love interest of Eddie. So we have the love interest of Eddie, and then we have the love interest of Cletus Cassidy, which is the Shriek character. Travis mentioned like it's I think he mentioned that she's some sort of girlfriend or just like compatriot to the Cletus Cassidy character. I feel like I mean I don't really know too much about her comic book related, but I feel like it'll be possibly like a Harley situation to the Joker. Like she's just like is number one. She's like in love with him. And again, I could be completely wrong, so I am apologizing if I am wrong in that sense. But I feel like when you have the love interest of the antagonist and the love interest of the protagonist, there's just going to be some clashing, especially when they're badass, you know, femme fatales and they can just kick ass. So I feel like that would be the situation if we see Venom.
If they don't bring, you know, Venom back in and they connect it with Anna and stuff, I mean, what if they go I'm just comparing here. What if they go the Spider-Man 3 route and Eddie just moves on and finds Gwen Stacy like they did in Spider-Man 3, and he's just like, I'm looking for a job, sir. Like, I'm in love with a girl. I want to marry her. And she just treats him like garbage. Like, or just not like garbage, but like that movie, she just totally is like oblivious to him.
That's a good point. I would be so down if we get Gwen Stacy in here. If we get Gwen Stacy in here though, does that mean that we can't get Gwen Stacy in like another like MCU universe?
Well, I think we would, because I mean, look at what they're doing with Michael Keaton, right? So you can get a Gwen Stacy here who's with Tom Hardy, and then she goes off and like connects with Peter because Peter forgot MJ forgot who Peter is, and Peter's like, oh, Gwen Stacy's in my universe now.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe that'll be the situation. They all just like have a happy breakup. Maybe they have a little double date with the doctor boy and Anne, and they're all just super cordial. It's like a little life lesson, you know, people can move on and still be friendly. All right, there's a couple of little comments. S Bubs, we need the Venom to sell the new special edition Venom Funko Pops. That's a very good point. She's a very cool design, just like the slim female look for the Venom character, and you know, pump out those Funko Pops. They sell a lot and they make a lot of money, so absolutely. And then Travis Snell mentioned the couples fight will happen if not Venom 3. There you go. So Gwen ain't coming to MCU. I think 10% chance. So you're saying there's a chance with that 10%. Yeah.
10% chance. Okay. Next question for you.
Ooh,
do you think Carnage will die?
Do I think Carnage will die? I think he won't fully die. I think it's possible Cletus Cassidy perishes, but the character of Carnage and like what the symbiote is, I think even if like, okay, yeah, we defeated him, they'll be like, maybe not an end credit scene, but just like the final scene will be like that red ooze, like maybe slipping down the sewer, or, you know, like just finding a new host or something like that. I feel like it's just too much of a big bad villain, in my opinion, to the symbiotes that you can't just introduce him in one movie and kill him off. If they do go that route, I'll be pretty disappointed, because I've always found Carnage so fascinating, just to the sense that he's so evil. Like he's just like chaotic evil to the full extent of what that alignment means. And he's just a really big deal in my opinion to the symbiote. So I'd be pretty damn disappointed if he is definitively killed off. Maybe, and I don't know, like maybe if I'm trying to push back against that argument, he is a really, really big villain. So if he survives, let's say we get Venom 3, and then he has like his crew, for lack of a better term, of like big bads that he brings back. And again, this is all hypothetical. Let's just say he makes some sort of team to come fuck up Venom because he got fucked up. I feel like that would be pretty unlikely that our character Venom would be able to defeat like multiple of them just because Carnage is so deadly. Like he's just fucked up Venom multiple times in the past. Like in the comics, at least one that I read, like it was Peter and Venom like taking on Carnage, and Carnage was just fucking them up. So if they go that route where he survives, maybe comes back with like a crew, I think Venom needs to have some sort of crew with him to just like make it more of a,
Start letting a bunch of people just bite him and suck his blood, just making all these symbiote crew members.
So we get She-Venom, the Doctor bites him. We got like a Doctor symbiote. Gwen Stacy bites him. Yeah, I don't know. What about you? Do you think Cletus Cassidy, Carnage is making it out of this?
I think Cletus could die. I think Carnage might somehow excrete or transition into toxin. I think
Toxin, yeah.
I think that's what we'll see, and it'll be like Carnage won't necessarily die. Maybe it could be like captured by another business or a company and like held in like a cryo somehow, like for use later on.
Yeah.
But as far as like Cletus goes, maybe even Cletus will be like knocked unconscious. I feel like they will keep them around because it's such a heavy hitter. Like Venom is one thing in his own right, but I feel like Carnage is not a villain you just throw in and kill off in one movie. He's such a powerful villain to use at their disposal. So bringing in Carnage, they're going to bring in Toxin. Toxin, I could see them killing off in like the future or something like that. Maybe even we get Toxin in this movie and they kept that under wraps for all we know. And they kill Toxin off like they killed off Riot. And then they keep Carnage around later on. Carnage goes into hiding. I don't know. But I think Carnage makes it out 100% alive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. Because he's just such a cool character. Like just so evil, murders people, and he's just so dangerous and creepy. And yeah, I want him around. I want just more symbiotes. I just want more and more. We got a bunch in the first movie. Yeah. S-Pubs bring up great point. Riot got blown up at the end of Venom. Absolutely true. Like there's a good chance that they do just introduce these big bads and they just get murked. Yeah. And then that's basically what I was saying. The symbiote escaped the last second, which is another, we've seen it so many times, our heroes succeed. And then you just see it like the sludge just going into the sewer.
Movie magic. Okay. Anything else on that topic?
Like just Venom related?
Yeah, or like like Carnage dying or anything like that.
Well, with Detective Mulligan being in this movie, do you think like Toxin like is in this without Carnage? Because I feel like Carnage, I could be testing my knowledge here and be completely wrong, but I feel like Carnage is a direct result to how we get Toxin. Maybe I'll confirm that while
he is, because
yeah,
Toxin is a like he's not connected to Venom, but he's a direct like I keep saying excretion, but he's like he's an offspring of Carnage.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think that's a high chance that Toxin could be in this movie, especially with Detective Mulligan just kind of like popping around.
Yeah. So I guess like why I was bringing that up was like maybe Cletus Cassidy gets defeated and then Carnage doesn't completely, and then that's where he like takes hold of Detective Mulligan, and then we get Toxin. And again, that could just be like tune in next time in Venom 3 and you'll meet Toxin, and it could be a very easy, clean way to just kill off Cletus and introduce a new villain that's even deadlier and scarier. I could totally see that happening.
It could be interesting a villain, or maybe like you said, normally you have Spider-Man and Venom team up against Carnage in the past. Maybe you get a Toxin and Venom team up of some sort. But I don't think that would fit Detective Mulligan's character. I think it would be kind of like an unhealthy alliance if that were the case.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think I'm not the most well versed on like the Toxin character, so I don't know where he aligns, like just his alignment, like if he's just bad for the sake of being bad, like Cletus Cassidy is, because Cletus Cassidy is a serial killer, like before he even becomes Carnage, right? So like he's already just fucked up and murders people, so then he gets the weapon of that is Carnage, so he can just rain down destruction and pain and suffering to everyone. So I don't know if because he's a detective. Like you wouldn't think that someone who like you take away the symbiote you compare those two types of people, they're very different, right? And I feel like that would directly result to the symbiotes like being different. Because I should look into Toxin a little bit, because I don't think Toxin is just evil for the sake of being evil. I know he's fucking powerful and scary, but he's I don't
Apparently
think...
he's pretty dark. He's
Okay, there you go.
pretty evil.
Yeah.
Venom's grandson is the darkest symbiote while still technically being considered a hero. That's interesting.
Oh,
He's
okay.
the 1,000th in his bloodline,
Ooh.
making him the most powerful symbiote. And it's cool. He has additional powers where he's got a poisonous bite and a healing factor that rivals Wolverine's.
That's awesome.
Very
So
powerful.
right here, while not nearly as bad as his villainous father Carnage, Toxin is certainly proving he's quite darker than Venom. So there you go. He's not quite as evil as Cletus Cassidy, but eviler than Venom, because Venom, as he's been shown multiple times in his different interpretations, he's the anti-hero type character. He definitely does some pretty dark things, I think, especially when he's first been introduced, but later along the lines, especially once he starts getting a better grasp on being Eddie and Venom, because like in the beginning it's just like Venom taking over Eddie, and then Eddie's just like scared because he doesn't really know what's going on, and Venom's just popping off. And then once they kind of become more like 50-50, like both Eddie and Venom, that's where you get the more anti-hero stuff. But they just forever hate Spider-Man, so fuck. Get Toby in this movie.
Yeah,
get Bully Maguire in here. I want him to really piss off Eddie. And
Bully Maguire.
You're gonna cry.
Little Venom Jr.
Just like picturing Toby, and like, Toby, he's a beautiful man, but like just in comparison to like Tom Hardy, I feel like Tom Hardy's just so much more menacing. He just seems so much more jacked and just more of a man than what
if
Toby
they get
is.
Toby from like the Raimi verse, I think that Toby stands up against Tom Hardy.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
I think so, because I mean he'd have to like. I haven't seen what Maguire looks like these days. Like in
He's
terms
just
of, like, his
shredded.
abs. Just shredded. Yeah,
He's
like
looking
he
like The
looked
Rock.
good though in those old Spider-Man movies. So
He did.
good.
No, for sure. No, yeah, especially big change. Like when he's
Big
looking at
change.
himself in the mirror, he is pretty jacked. So I should give you. All right, I should give Toby more credit than I am. I just feel like Tom Hardy's just a sexy man, and he's a man's man in my opinion. So
He's been through the trenches a little bit.
it's just a funny visual for me, picturing Spider-Man 3, Bully Maguire, just like bullying Eddie Brock, who's Tom Hardy. It's just a funny visual. And God, I hope it happens.
I keep thinking lately about that video of him. It's just like it's Doc Ock like creating havoc in the road, and it's Tobey Maguire like, I can't see. There's cars in the road, motherfucker. Get out the way. That's so good.
Oh, he was not having a good night.
No. All right, we're gonna jump to our next ad break, and we will finish off our last couple of predictions for Venom. We'll be right back.
Beautiful.
And we're back. So I want to throw to you now. Are we going to see any other Marvel Spider-Man characters appearing? And Travis has kindly noted examples. JJ, Morbius, Vulture, Kraven, MCU characters, or anyone else that you just want.
The JJ one is really interesting for me because I feel like he's a type of character who, I mean, he's already in the MCU, so he's kind of transcending that aspect of being rooted to one universe, whether it's the Raimiverse, MCU, Sonyverse. Now, my only holdup on that is that he's so tied to the Spider-Man character. So if you're telling me Spider-Man's in this, I could 100% wholeheartedly say that JJ will be in this. But I just feel like it's just too much of a holdup to have him not in Spider-Man, because he's just so against Spider-Man. And to have him ranting and raving about the symbiotes and not necessarily Spider-Man, I don't know. I just can't really see that happening. Some other ones like Kraven. Sorry, what were some other ones you listed? Or
There
Travis
was Vulture, Morbius.
Yeah. So those two, Vulture, Morbius. I think I'm like over 50% positive on that they could cross over, just because we saw Morbius and Vulture together in that trailer, right? So right off the hop, we know that those two interact at least some point. And then if Morbius is in the same universe as Venom, like it's a Sony verse, and we already know Vulture is interacting with Morbius, at least to some extent, I think that it's a lot more likely that we'll get those three together.
S-Bubs shouts out to back your point. There is a Daily Bugle and Venom universe already. We did see those
Yep.
like on the subway,
right.
like Daily Bugle newspaper ads. On the
right.
note of you saying Morbius, now if Morbius was in this, do you think it'll be a prequel version where he's just a scientist, or do you think it would actually be him after, and then it's like, okay, this segues into his origin movie. Now you can see what happened and how he became Morbius. Yeah.
Yeah. I could see that happening actually, just because like the timing of the movies. And do you know off the top of your head when Morbius is actually supposed to come out? I feel like that's in one of those movies that's just,
I'll pull it up.
It's just a golden goose. It's hard to find. And
well, it was always supposed to come out after Venom 2, was it not?
I think so.
It's supposed to come on January 22nd.
Okay, and this one is October 1st, the release.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think that is actually, I would say like over 60%, honestly, that Morbius will get just kind of shown in this, and then we'll just all be like, or not, I guess not us, but like maybe more general audience will be like, oh, who's this guy? And then that's when you start seeing the Morbius trailers. I feel like marketing standpoint, it just makes sense doing it that route. It's a good way to just, I don't know, put that little spark of thought of the character into people's minds, especially the GA, because if I'm looking at that movie as just a general audience member, like you have a vampire and he's supposedly attached to like Spider-Man stuff, like what? You know, if you haven't seen like the Spider-Man comics or like the animated series and stuff, you'd be just so confused. And then I guess my only other attachment to that would be we see Carnage sucking some blood in this one, so maybe we'll see some other blood suckers in this. And God, who knows? Maybe like this end credit scene is just like a complete, like clear-cut way of them just crossing over to MCU, and then we have like, you know, Morbius interacting with Blade down the line.
Oh yeah,
I mean it's all there. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, I'm waiting for that Madame Web thing that they said they were gonna do.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
Maybe that's not going to be my prediction. Obviously, that she'll be in this movie at all. Spub says Morbius bit Cletus in prison.
Yeah, why would Morbius be in prison? Because he's just like a doctor, isn't he?
Is like Espo's being serious, or is that actually like just is he memeing? Because
I mean, he talks in such like a statement type way, like, oh yeah, this is it, I've read the script, or like
maybe it's part of like his research, right? Like he's like he hasn't found the bat thing yet. He's trying to find a way to like heal himself, and he's just biting people in prison.
This guy looks tasty.
Just goes tasty. As far as characters I'd like to see, I'm thinking that they'll save Vulture for Morbius. We'll save him. I don't think we'll see Morbius in this movie. I think you'll definitely see JJ and Craven. I think okay, I suppose. Thank you for clarifying. You said it so literally. So
he's made little joke statements like that in the past. So
yeah. Craven, again, I don't know much about Craven, and you can call me GA, filthy casual, but it's the way the cookie crumbled for me. I don't know much about him.
Perfect hunter. I mean, like he could, like he kind of fits on paper, just in the sense of like who would be the perfect prey. It's funny that you don't know too much about Craven, because I feel like a part of him is pretty similar to like the Predators, because he's just all about like the perfect hunt. Doesn't quite have the same look, but definitely like the same type of goal, is just being like the perfect hunter and finding that prey that's just worthy of him. And like just adding on to that, like who would be more of a perfect prey than someone like Carnage, right? I just think it's just too wild of a of something to grab in this when we're already introducing Shriek, Carnage, Venom, possibly other symbiotes, right? Sorry to take your light there.
No, you said it spot on. Couldn't agree more. All right. Well, we're gonna move to the last predictions topic of Venom. Now, Kirklin, what will the end credits scene be? Now, neither you or myself have watched it. I know Travis was speculating, like, don't watch it, Taylor.
Before the cast,
Before the cast, yeah.
We could record this. You do your prediction, and then you just go watch it, and you're like, "Fuck, that's completely wrong." You like edit. You like come back in, edit.
I'll
the
re-edit
episode.
it, yeah, before uploading.
It's like terribly edited too. You're like mouthing words, but it's just completely off. That'd be funny. This is a Taylor told you so.
Oh my god. Yeah. Did you want to start? Or do you want me to lead us in?
Yeah, I can start. Sorry. I think here now, like Taylor mentioned, we haven't seen the end credit, so I apologize if you have, and we're completely fucking wrong here. But that's what makes this fun. But I think here is where you get that, like, okay, Carnage is defeated, and then it goes to him, and he's like kind of slithering off to the distance, maybe like absorbing someone else as a new host, and then we get like that toxin scream, and it's like, oh shit, that's the new villain, right? I think that is like a safe answer because it makes a lot of sense doing it. Possibly like a Morbius thing, or like just some other connection to another universe. I haven't seen the leak credit, but just I've seen some like headlines like, oh, the Venom end credit scene leaked, what this means for the, just like that little clickbaity like title that they use, like what this means going forward. So I feel like just with a statement like that, it's setting up something that's not just a Venom sequel. It's maybe something more universe like, more universe like. I mean that in the sense of like linking different movies and stuff together. I feel like maybe it'll be along that route, and who knows, maybe this isn't connecting MCU. Maybe this is just incorporating more Spider-Man type characters, but in the Sonyverse. Like maybe it's not a direct attachment to the Spider-Man character, but just more someone that interacts with Spider-Man a lot, but he's not directly attached to that character. Like, so it would allow Venom and other, I don't know, side characters of Spider-Man to interact in the universe. I think it would be something like that. I don't think it'll be anything too like severe. Like this is where we get, I don't know. I don't even know what example I was going to try and say there. Like a certain character like dying, or like maybe making a really big decision like in the end credit scene. I don't think it'll be that intensive one. I think it'll just be setting up for the next stage in either a crossover universe or just the third Venom.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Yeah, I think you said it correctly. The safe route is for them to just have Carnage like receding away, toxin coming to play, something like that. But I don't feel like they'll go safe. I feel, again, this movie, for whatever reason, I think it was going to be delayed initially past Spider-Man No Way Home. Was that, do you know if that was actually its case?
I'm not sure.
Shang-Chi came out, and there's that meme with Jonah Jameson where it's like, oh yeah, I need you to come back here, because they delayed Venom, and then Shang-Chi came out, was successful the weekend, then they brought Venom back to its initial release date.
Right.
I'm wondering, okay, if it was going to release still before Spider-Man No Way Home in December, then that goes to show, okay, the end credit scene is probably very relevant to the lead up to that. If it was going to release afterwards, then I know, okay, it's not going to have any effect or play on Spider-Man No Way Home. Probably wasn't going to have Spider-Man or something along those lines. It would probably be a safe bet, kind of holding true to just Venom's universe. Maybe a segue to Morbius or something like that.
Right.
But that's the only basis that I have to go off of. I know S-Bub says he's seen the leaked end credit scene. Some said it's also fake.
Ooh,
I think that's the main thing. Like, even when the delay was only to the end of October, as Bub says. Okay, then I retract what I said earlier. I firmly believe the end credit scene will have something heavily to do with No Way Home then.
Yeah.
So what that'll be, I have no idea. But on the note of him saying it's fake, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with when that Spider-Man No Way Home trailer dropped. A lot of people were, I think, saying it was fake or whatnot because it was just unfinished CGI and all that stuff. So
right.
Their security is not on point right now with things leaking. So
no.
Yeah,
not at all. Yeah, I mean, it's one way or the other. It's just so interesting because once that end credit happens, or maybe it's not even in the end credit. Once this movie happens, and it'll just be in my opinion, a pretty definitive point on where we're going, like whether it's attached to the MCU or not. And for that reason, I'm just so fascinated to see this movie. And I think I'll enjoy it. Like I enjoyed the first one. I was laughing out loud for moments that was intended and moment that wasn't intended because it was just so ridiculous what was going on. But it was still a fun time nonetheless. I love the character Venom, and I think the brightest point of that first movie was the Venom, like just his look, his interaction in the world, and like him just fucking people up. Like that was just so fun to see. So as long as I'm getting more of that and not less of it, I think I'm gonna have a fun time with this movie. And like I said, it's so fascinating to see where this goes, because this is a big point. Like I think there'll be. I mean, for one, it's gonna be such a fun review, so make sure to tune into that one. But just also going forward for what this character is and who he interacts with and his place in the cinematic world. It's awesome. I'm excited.
As Bub says, undercover Sony agents spamming every upload site saying it's fake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think you said it spot on. This movie is critical because it's the last. I'm gonna start calling these MCU films. I guess it's the last MCU film right before Spider-Man: No Way Home. I mean, the end credits scene could be Wong just like popping open a portal and just coming through like.
I would. Oh my god, I would. Like Travis said in his Shang-Chi predictions, I would stand up and do a backflip in the theater. That would be
the portal scene happened.
Like, especially if it's just so blatant like that. Like, hey, no, he's coming and he's gonna be interacting with the rest of the MCU.
It'd be a jaw dropper. It'd be huge.
My god! Like, just like that would just open up so many different things. Not just for having like Tom Hardy like in the MCU, just the fact that like the symbiote of Venom is in there. That means that like it's not out of the realm of possibility. We're gonna be getting possibly like the Venom Hulk, and like the Venom, because Venom is literally like taken over like so many people in the comics. So like, you get your Venom. What was it? You get your Venom Galactic Ghost Rider. What was that?
Venom Red Hulk Cosmic Ghost Rider or something like that. That's my ultimate. I need.
That's what I mean. Like if we have just the symbiote of Venom, like actually on screen in the MCU, that is technically not out of the realm of possibility because all the factors, Ghost Rider, he's right around the corner. He's going to be making an appearance here pretty soon. So all of the ingredients are there.
Oh yeah,
that's just such a funny name. The Red Hulk, Venom.
It doesn't make any sense. It's got every dash of something random, and I love it. Yeah. But it's got Ghost Rider, the key component.
Exactly.
Eternals is also before No Way Home. See, I forgot about goddamn Eternals.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Many do.
All right. So we are now going to jump to, we'll throw to a quick ad break. Why not? And then we'll jump to our next topic. We'll be right back. And we're back. So, Kirklin, you saw a couple trailers, I imagine.
I saw a few trailers.
You saw a few trailers? Did you watch You?
I watched the You trailer. I wasn't sure if you had watched You. Were you on the reviews?
I watched You.
You watched me? Or you watched You?
Myself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I watched the trailer. I mean, we've done reviews for the show, so I think if you listen to those, you kind of know where I feel on the show. I think it's phenomenal. It's just so entertaining to watch. Forget the lad's name, the main guy, but he's just so good as the role of Joe. Season 2, I felt like it just got way better than the first season, and I love the first season. Like they're just getting really, really good, really entertaining to watch. It's very suspenseful at times and just leaves you wondering what the fuck is going to happen. And I think the cliffhanger of season 2, it led into just more of that, like what's going to be going on, but this trailer, it was just such a wild trailer. I think it's set up the next season really, really well because it introduced a bunch of new factors, like there's that other female love interest. I'm assuming is the love interest, like the new like stalker prey or whatever that Joe has. Introduced the baby. We hadn't seen the baby before, right?
I think we saw the baby at the end of season 2.
Oh, did we? Okay.
I think so.
I couldn't quite remember. It's been a while since I've seen that one, but nonetheless, we see the baby more. We see just Joe and Love interacting more with the world and different people and themselves. And the couple count season, I think, is going to be interesting. And it's just, I think it showed a lot of just a lot of suspenseful moments that like haven't been drawn out yet, like on the screen for us, but it just showed like what they're going to be. And I'm just excited to watch and review that season because it's a really fun show, even though it's pretty like dark and creepy. It's a fun. It's one of those shows too that I got Shay on, and she's like addicted to. Penn Badgley. There you go. You put the name. So it's always fun when I have someone else to watch those shows with and just experience that, other than being alone.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, the trailer was just super exciting. The good music choice, everything. It just seems like it's overall going to be a wild ride. There's going to be a lot of death, and it's going to have great elements that made the first 2 seasons really, really attractive thrown into the mix here with a lot of new stuff. I think it's cool having Love being kind of like completely bonkers, and they have a kid together, and how's this kid gonna like work out for them, and their relationship being put to the test, I think is going to be an interesting dynamic. I have a question for you though. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Love might die? Because I feel like the trailer really alluded to her a lot. Or is it going to be like the love interest died and Love's just going to be killing all these women?
I think I'm unsure on your first one if Love is going to perish in this season. I think that she is going to be popping off on some people. I mean, we see her smack someone. We didn't really see who it was, but it was like a rolling pin or something that she had that she smacked someone with. Yeah, and then I mean, we see Joe wrapping someone up. So is that him killing someone on his own, or is that like maybe helping Love cover up something, or is that Love? Like it's just it has a lot of questions, and that's what I think the trailer did really well, is that it showed a lot of stuff, but without showing like the end of those things, and it's got me just wanting to see the season. And because I really think Love is going to pop off on some people. It's tough because I feel like if they didn't have a kid, I'd be like, okay, she's going to die. But like that child just is such an interesting factor when you bring that in. Because like what is Joe going to just murder the mother of his child, and then all of a sudden has this child and it's like a Dexter Harrison situation? I don't know. I feel like if you're asking me, I have to answer that one way or the other. I think it won't be that case. I think for somehow Love is going to be around, but she's just like an impending doom, it seems. Like I think if Joe wants to go on with his wicked ways, like she's just going to be a huge thorn in his side in that sense. So it's I'm unsure on her just her fate of what's going to happen to her.
Absolutely. I mean, you kill her. I don't think he would kill her, because as even says in the trailer, unless this is a misdirect where he's stating the child makes him want to do better for
right, that line.
Whatnot. So I could see him not hurting Hope, at least physically. I think the only damage he's going to do to Hope is going to be all mentally, where he's eyeballing other girls. He's getting distracted, and it's going to really piss her off that he's not putting all of his attention into her.
Oh, yeah. So he's going to get caught. And there's going to be a crazy moment between those two, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, considering what we had with like the first season where he was hiding the girls' things up in his, like, he was hiding things up in like the ceiling and whatnot, like all that like cringing stuff. It's gonna happen here. Hope's gonna wander into the bedroom and find like the neighbor's clothes or something like that hidden somewhere, like hair or something. It's gonna be so cringy. It's gonna be balls to the walls, sideways, but it's gonna be really, really entertaining to watch, and I'm excited. I'm glad we're getting this season. I feel like it's been a long time. Now, how many seasons do you think we're gonna get of this show? Because I feel like, I know Travis mentioned, I think 3 to 4 is probably good. I would stick to 4 seasons personally, but I'm curious what you would think.
It's interesting because I mean, this is a novel, right? I believe it's a novel. Just at the end of season 1, I felt like it didn't really need more seasons. Like it was just, especially because it was so attached to my gosh, what's her name? Beck. There you go. That was the female from the first one. Like I felt like the whole season was about her. And And then of course I was complete. That's why like when season 2 happened, I'm like, what's gonna happen now? Like he's just gonna find a new person to stalk, which is exactly what happened. And then I'm like, okay, it's just gonna be season 1, but then they did things very different in that one, obviously with how it ended, especially with Love just being a psycho now. So for that being said, I think this one's gonna end on another cliffhanger. So at least 3 seasons. I think 4 is a good enough number, because I think once you start getting 5 and 6, I don't know. There's only so much you can do with this type of concept, in my opinion. But I also said that about the first season, so I obviously was wrong in that sense. But I think 3 or 4 is like a. I think if you put your money on 3 or 4, you'd be getting your money back at least what you put in if you're making that bet, in my opinion.
Well, it's the Dexter route too, right? You go past 4 seasons, it's all downhill from there. So
exactly, great
there's that
example.
issue. Yeah. All right, we'll jump to our next topic here, the Nightmare Alley. Now, this is with Bradley Cooper, and we got Willem
So many
Dafoe,
people. Yeah,
Kate
we had Cate
Blanchett,
Blanchett. We have Ron Perlman, your boy.
Oh, yeah.
And some other big names. I was pretty blown away just about the cast alone, and I had never heard of this movie before now. I'll just keep going since I'm talking about it already. I love this trailer. I thought it was, for one, anytime, like Willem Dafoe lately is just like top of my list. Anytime he's a part of anything, I'm just like intrigued. I think I always loved him in like the Toby Spider-Mans, but especially Lighthouse. He just like blew my mind, and I'm like, okay, this is not only was his not only was his performance amazing, but I'm like, this guy just has something to him that I love watching him on screen. Like, it's just so entertaining. His voice, his look, everything. It just makes me want more. And I love his like character in this. He's like kind of the, I don't know what they'd be called, like the host of the carnival, and just like I don't know what that term is called or their position, but nonetheless, he's just that guy that's kind of, I don't know, hosting it and just ringmaster. Yeah, there you go. And he's got me so fascinated. I'm really excited to see like Bradley Cooper, and I think the trailer was just, it showed enough to make it like creepy and very intriguing, because I don't really know much. You know, they keep hinting towards this like evil. Is it a man? Is it a monster? Is it a female? Like, what is it? And it kept kind of showing like Bradley Cooper at the centerpiece of it. So like, is Bradley Cooper like the big nightmare? I don't know. Like it left it very open. I feel like in an era where most trailers spoil like the main plot of, or maybe that's the wrong way to say it, because you do want to show at least what the movie's about in the trailer, I feel, but like without revealing, you know, the thing of what the nightmare is. I think they did a really good job with that in the trailer, and it was creepy. Like I said, the visuals with the fire and the carnival, like, it just looks so intriguing to me, and I thought it was such a good trailer, and I'm very intrigued.
I couldn't agree more. They were definitely directing Bradley Cooper as being this thing, and I'm kind of wondering what the illusion is. I feel like this trailer was just one giant illusion, and a direct. And I'm so curious, because I was getting vibes like, is Cate Blanchett the creature,
it seemed like
this monster, but yeah, like it seemed like the cops were chasing Bradley Cooper. Like, everyone was going after him. Like, for what reason? Like, did he follow? I know that's kind of like a story that's a go-to, where someone comes to the circus, falls in love with this person that's put on display, and frees them and runs off with them.
Right.
And maybe that's the concept here, and maybe it's just an illusion where Bradley sees one thing and everyone else sees something completely different. I don't know, but the cast is great. Ron Perlman was in the trailer, like eating and then standing there, like leaning to the side at someone. So I'm wondering what his purpose is. But Willem Dafoe, you said it. He's just he's narrating this whole trailer, which was super, super cool. I loved how he was doing that, and he's at the top of the list right now as far as actors go. Like,
he's phenomenal.
He is. I mean, that's not something that I just recently have always appreciated with him. Like, one of my favorite films with him is Boondock Saints. Have you ever seen that?
I forgot he was in
Reedus.
that.
Like both of them. He obviously he's in the first one more, but he's just always been a consistent good actor, and just delivers. His roles are so full of emotion, and I feel like I love the idea of him being a ringmaster for this carnival. It's just super cool. So I'm excited to see what comes out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he fits that type of role so well, and it's it's funny because I mean, like, of course we saw him in Spider-Man. You mentioned Boondock Saints there, but I feel like I mean, he definitely has done work in between then, but I feel like he kind of was like there and then he kind of went into the shadows. And now he's in like Aquaman, Lighthouse came out. He's in this.
Spider-Man again.
Spider-Man again, yeah. So like he's just like re-emerging and just like stronger and better than ever. And I love it because he's just such a phenomenal actor. And I love it. I love Willem Dafoe.
You don't want to oversaturate the market either, right? Like you got
That's
The Rock
true.
and everything. I'm not saying he's oversaturated, but like know your limit and act within
I think
it.
he
right?
might be a little bit. I mean, kudos to him. He's like the number one paid actor in the entire world. Like he's just
Making bank.
he's making so much bank, and he's like making businesses and just being the man. And it's awesome. Do that as much as you can while you still can, right?
Yeah.
So huge credit to him. But definitely every time I see a trailer, it's just like, okay, what's his name? Oh no, I think it's just Dwayne in this movie.
Same clothes.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Like he probably just goes from one set to the other because he's so fucking busy making like
He does.
16 movies.
He doesn't have to change either.
No,
like-
absolutely not. He's like, as long as you guys have a gym there, I'll be there. Wearing my one shirt.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna cut to one final ad break, and then I'll get to
Let's do it.
the last topic, which I really don't have much to talk about. But here we go.
Is it your knee review?
Oh yeah. And we're back. So I don't have much to talk about with this movie. This movie is quite something. This is Ghosts or Prisoners of the What did Travis right here? Ghost of the Prisoner's Wasteland? That's not the name of the movie.
Yeah, that's
What?
definitely not.
It's Prisoners of the Ghostland. Oh my
Yeah.
god, Travis.
Yeah, he was our intern, man. We're gonna have to dock some pay.
Yeah. So, Prisoners of the Ghostland. Oh, I leading into this. So with Madison, we both got home from work, and I told her like, okay, we're gonna have like a great night. It's her Friday night, and she doesn't work the next day. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch a new movie, and it's a Nick Cage movie. It's gonna be great. And so, the movie felt like 2.5 hours, felt super long, but we started watching it, and Nick Cage is being his classic self, and there was just moments that were really, really humorous, but I didn't know how to react because the scenes were jumping around, and I didn't understand what was really going on. I'm doing this in like a non-spoiler sense, but I'll explain some things. Like there was a moment where this bad guy gave him keys for the job. The keys were to a car. He drives the car. He gets out, gets on a bicycle. He bikes for a whole scene. And then he gets back to this guy who has the same car, and he jumps into the car and drives off. It made no sense. And he gets into a car accident. I couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. The suit alone that he gets put on him, because his objective is to go and rescue this daughter of this cowboy-looking bandit guy. And the suit he puts on has 2 explosives on his neck, 2 explosives on his balls, and 2 explosives. I can't remember the other 2 were, but I think on his arms. So if he lays a hand and hits this girl, then the bomb will detect it and explode on his hand. If he doesn't get back in time or tries to undo the collar, then the bomb explodes on his neck. If he tries to do something naughty and use his penis, then the testicle ones blow up. Now, I can't remember what was really causing it, but something happened with him and the girl, and the one testicle bomb went off, and he was holding his blown up testicle. Like it was like, pardon how rated R that is. It was so gross, and I came out of this movie feeling like complete garbage with myself. Madison felt like complete shit. Her night was ruined. Again, the movie had some great visuals, some wacky stuff, like some swords and some crazy things. I got part Shang-Chi vibes and part I don't know what the fuck's going on added in.
Some color out of space vibes.
It definitely had color out of space vibes
Oh,
to a
no.
degree. Not like the crazy weird shit. No, it was crazy and weird shit. It's just all around a weird experience. I have no desire to rewatch this movie. I almost didn't, like, we were going to review it, and I thought there's no way we can talk about this movie for let alone half an hour.
It'd probably be like a 10-minute review. Well, I'm glad that you went through that. I'm glad that, thanks to you and Madison, taking that bullet for me, because I like had it like almost ready to go. I was like,
Oh
okay,
man.
what are we watching this? What day are we doing this? And then you watched it. I don't think we really have to talk about it. So that was, you definitely did some work for me there.
I mean, if someone on our Patreon ups their tier, joins that specific tier, and is like, I want you guys to do Prisoners of the Ghostland, I'll rewatch it again and I'll hate every goddamn minute of it. But then
Yeah.
like it'd be fun to talk with all you guys about it for sure, because it's absolutely just it's a hot mess. But
I
oh
was
my
gonna say too, like I could see us, if a Patreon really wants us to watch it, maybe do like a Willy's Wonderland route where we just all watch it together, like a commentary.
that would be nice. That'd be very
Because
nice.
that is a little bit easier to do, because for one, we're all there kind of watching the movie. Like, are you guys actually seeing this, or am I just going crazy? No, we're actually seeing this together. And then it's, you know, like you're saying with the review, like trying to get a solid time chunk to review the movie. It's like, I don't really know what else to talk about other than just this crazy scene and this crazy scene.
It's just even like a matter of, I don't want to waste my bloody time doing it.
You did that
like,
once, yeah.
I mean, I don't. It'd be for the fans, of course, and the fans come first. Now I know I'm sorry, I can't remember the fella's name that made us watch Color Out of Space, and that movie still haunts my goddamn dreams.
It does.
And I mean, did we do a watch along for that together, or was that a review
Nope.
after?
I definitely watched that alone, because I was. It's so funny too, because I was like, I think I was going to bed or something, or like Shay was going to bed, so we were in bed, and then I was watching it on TV, and there was just scenes going on, and I'm like, I turn over to her, and I'm like, I feel like I just got to turn this off, go watch this in the other room, because like the audio is so disturbing, like it's just so ridiculous, the lines. Like if she was watching that, like she is pretty hesitant on what movies we watch together. Like I can't even really get her to watch like action movies. Like it's
Nothing with Nick Cage.
Yeah, I think I made her watch National Treasure because I fucking love those
Well,
movies for whatever reason.
that's totally okay.
I love those movies, but yeah, no, pretty limited Nick Cage exposure for her. But yeah, that was one of those movies. I'm like, I gotta just go watch this in another room. This is so fucked up, and I don't normally have that with movies.
Yeah, that one definitely takes the cake. Jesus. I mean, I'm glad Nick Cage recently put out a statement saying he's never going to retire from acting, which is great because we get like a movie a year with Nick Cage.
He's like The Rock status,
Yeah,
basically.
he
Except
is.
for unlike The Rock, he's playing different people.
Yeah, and he probably gets paid the least, like opposite of The Rock in terms of payment.
I'll do it for free. He's got all the money he needs. He's got his Oscar. Like he's just having fun at this point, and that's awesome.
I respect that. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's all I got on this mantle of news topics. Do you have anything you want to show, Kirklin?
Maybe just really briefly, because I forgot to bring it up last newscast, is the Haley Atwell like voicing Lara Croft in Tomb Raider. I just think it's awesome. I love Haley Atwell. I think she's awesome, and I love her voice, and I think it just fits that character of Laura. So that's really cool. And then the other just quick little fun thing to raise up is that Skulls. So it finished filming, right? That's what that was.
Filming.
Yeah, and you know, like we've talked about it. You're the resident Predator boy. that's a bad.
I don't
name,
know
actually.
about that name.
The Predator. What would I also call him? Just the Predator expert. Not even that. That's pretty bad.
Jungle Hunters.
The Jungle Hunters.
Yeah.
There you go. You're the resident Jungle Hunters expert. But like even for me, like I've always loved those Predator movies. I think they're so fun. I think just the characters of them are really intriguing. So didn't love the last movie, The Predator, but I just think it's one of those franchises. Anytime the movie comes out, we're gonna be watching, reviewing it, and talking about it because they're so interesting, and I'm excited to see this movie because it's more of a prequel, right? Or like an origin.
Yes, from what I've gathered from it, it takes place not even a few decades ago, probably like a couple hundred years ago, with just Native Americans. And I believe it's like a young girl and young boy that encounter it. And I think they get into again, I'm paraphrasing a lot, and this is just from what I have found that I think it is. They get into a scenario that is dangerous. It could be with some wildlife or something like that. And I've heard talks about like a bear or something like that, bear trophies, but I think the predator teams up with them and helps them. And I think there's some impending doom to their village, and I think the predator helps them. For me, when you have humans team up with predators, is absolutely just the holy grail for me. I love that dynamic. And I think that the futuristic setting taken out of this, of like people like soldiers, US Army, stuff like that aside, like that's its own thing. But having people back in the day just working together, the village setting, the land, nature, and them just bows and arrows, even just this old fashioned concept and living style. I think it's just going to work so well with the predator, because I feel like when you have that culture, that rich culture, I think it will just blend really, really well with predator, because there's so much honor in there and so much respect. And I think that's going to go well with the predator coming into this community and seeing the culture and the community and all of that just meshes with what he believes in. So I think there's so much potential. I like the idea of him kind of, I don't want to say adopting them, but taking them under his wing, I guess. And this is all stuff, again, that I've heard in rumors and leaks that they've discussed. And I'm hoping that this is like for sure 100% a true way that they go about it, because I think it's got so much potential to do good.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime that you're doing something different from what we've just been seeing the last couple of movies, just like whether it's modern day with the super stereotypical like commando type soldiers just getting fucked up by these predators, like it's fun to see something fresh where it's like you said, like if it's more like what even era is that? I don't even know.
It'd probably be like
1800s,
around
something
there.
like that. I think that's just fun because it's just interesting to see like a hunter culture, in regards to humans and like them interacting with like an alien hunter, right? That's always fun. And then you mentioned like the human predator team up. I've always loved that as well. I think one of my favorite movies when I was younger was AVP, like Alien versus Predator. And we get that beautiful moment, when that one female, she teams up with the predator at the end, they take on the aliens. And it's just, I think part of it is because I just love like the look of what the predator is. He's just so badass with the active camouflage. He's got like his shoulder gun, but also like the close blades. He just looks so cool. So it's like I want that to be my hero. I don't want him like just murking all my human lads, my human friends. So whenever they team up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, he's the good guy, and he's he's on my team in my head canon. So that's always fun. And
camouflage. Not from Predator.
Not from Predator. Jurassic World. That is too good. When's that crossover happening? Predator and Jurassic World? Because that would be like some good prey to hunt, right?
They're doing it in the MCU Venom stuff in the comics, so let's,
that's right.
Let's see it. I mean, in Predator AVP 2, I think you could see a T-Rex skull that they had. So I mean, they were
wow.
They were hunting dinosaurs. There's a Triceratops skull in the trophy room in AVP 2 and stuff. So
that's true, yeah. Because I remember I think it was an AVP. It's so fresh in my mind because I've seen that movie so many times. But like they're talking about when the predators came and like bestowed gifts to the humans and all these things, and like that was kind of like the Aztec era, right? Because they're all on like the pyramids. Yeah, so all that stuff's so good. Anyway, I just wanted to. I'm pretty sure we talked about skulls and stuff on a previous newscast some point in time, but
not with this much interest. I appreciate your eager.
Yeah, absolutely. My eagerness. Well, it's fun because it's like the timing. It's finished filming. What's just your prediction on the release date on that, or have they released
I think there's a release date. There was there's a lawsuit going on right now, and Predator. It's expected in 2022. Okay, so that's good. But yeah, the lawsuit. I can't remember what the names of the guys are, but I think the people that were attached to the original film, they were suing Disney because they didn't want, in short, Disney to ruin it, the element of Predator and the name brand and everything. So I think they're fighting for like the rights to get it back. But this movie had already started being worked on and everything, so the lawsuit's not affecting it whatsoever. So I just can't believe the Predator came out a couple years ago, and I didn't think that. I thought that would be it. I thought it'd be 10 years before we got another one, like it was. But no, it's like Disney got in there, and Disney's like, let's get a Predator going right away. We need to make this happen. Yeah. So
it's awesome for fans of the series like yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's it for a newscast.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wanted to throw in those last two topics just to extend this a little bit more. Bring us to the hour and a half mark.
The hour and a
I'm
half.
glad the connection worked out. It was rough sailing at the beginning there, but it's smooth. It's smoothed out. I guess you did the fix. The old
I moved
router
the
move.
modem out, a little
Yeah,
bit.
the modem.
So yeah, I'll have to pitch it to Madison why it has to stay in a shitty place now.
She keeps moving it out of spite.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Taylor.
She
Making me
gets
watch
me
that
off.
Nick Cage movie.
Oh yeah. Or she gets me off a podcast sooner than later. She just puts it in a shitty area of the living room. All right, everybody. Till next time. See you in the search bar.